My name is FLANNEL Albert, and this is SoundAdvice. Growing up in Portland, there weren't a lot of other Asian kids around, but I took pride in my ability to be able to fit in with them without totally compromising my Korean roots. And when I ended up moving to Korea for high school, I went to an international school there where most of the kids were born and raised in Korea. And so again, I was sort of the odd one out, but I was able to assimilate and make friends and really become part of that community. And I think that translates just into my sound. It's something that's always been natural for me, is being relatable while still being myself. You know, I like to equate my sound with being like the girl next door, the guy next door. It's just something about it is familiar, it's catchy, and that's what attracts you. My hope for my music is that for people outside the AAPI community, they can be like, oh, like I know what this guy's talking about, I can relate to this experience. And then for members of the AAPI community, they can say, oh, I know what this guy's talking about, I've experienced this too. So first I want to shout out the Asian YouTube artists of like the mid-2000s. People like Dumbfounded and Jeremy Passion and Clara C. They, I think, really paved the way for what's happening today. But in terms of artists really that I'm listening to right now, Bombing Tiger, Jay Luna, Yeji, who I went to high school with, Dominic Fike, Jay Paul. I think to me, they always are sort of a departure of what the masses might think Asian music should sound like. For that, it always teaches me I can take one more step outside the box to be more myself. So representation to me is bringing to light the stories and qualities that unite a certain group of people while still recognizing the individuals within that group. Growing up, like watching kung fu and action films, I saw that there was someone who looked like me on the screen, but I didn't really do any martial arts, so how could I really relate to that? It still felt like somebody else. Whereas now watching a series like Beef, you know, I've been on a praise team in a Korean church, or like I talk to my mom the same way that Steven Yeun talks to his mom. Like seeing that and seeing people receive it so positively makes me feel like my story is valued, and it's just really humanizing. So I was in a serious relationship, and the girl I was dating at the time asked me this question, and I responded by saying that I'm inspired by everything. Part of what I loved about songwriting is I could take different perspectives and create my own worlds and situations, sort of like writing fiction. My biggest song, Darker Liquor, is based on something that never really happened to me, but I liked taking that perspective. It was really cool. Coincidentally enough, since that relationship ended, I've found that the experience that I had with that girl has found its way into a lot of my songs. And I've found since then, and as I grow older, that writing is getting more personal to me. Drawing from experiences is more natural and more fulfilling to write about. So I encourage artists to like live their lives really and experience things so that they can write about them later. I think that's just like the biggest thing about writing music. The biggest factor for me is that I'm pretty risk averse. I love making music, but I can't commit to it full time unless I know that my needs and like my future family's needs are provided for. But at the same time, I think that's helped, and I think artists that are in the same position can use that, because I think restriction breeds creativity. You find different ways to make do with the limited time that you're given, and you find out that you actually have more time than you think. And it's also just good training for when you might eventually take it full time, because you've already spent so much energy on making it work when the odds are in your favor. And so when the odds are finally in your favor, you're then more prepared to then take it to the next level.